or they may be from Nigeria or from Russia. And what we see is this, that those students who are first generation college are often intensely hungry for the knowledge. And that's wonderful for students who've been in this country with families for generations, because it shows just how hard people can work. I mean, the theme on this campus is grit. Our dog, the Chesapeake Bay Retriever, our mascot, is true grit. And we say that UMBC is the house of grit. And so when you walk around the campus, it feels like the Plaza of Nations at the UN. But you also see students who are from inner city Baltimore or DC or kids out of New York. They're learning how to work together. And most important, they have very high standards for themselves. As I say in the TED Talk, high expectations, building community, having scientists and humanists, building people into those disciplines, and finally evaluate what you're doing. It is that sense of the possibilities that I find most exciting about UMBC.
Speaking of your TED Talk,
yes,
you were asked to do that TED Talk because educators and other leaders seek your counsel. They want to hear how you make this work.
Sure.
What's one piece of advice that you give to them?
It is that we must stop believing that most students should get wiped out or just will always get wiped out of science. We call the first year of science weed out courses, and that's not good at all. That most people who begin in science don't succeed. We must have that belief that if we accept the students, that means we are determined to help them succeed in the discipline. But what I say about science, I say about the humanities and social sciences and other areas. Students need strong reading and thinking skills, regardless of the major. It's very important. If you give me a young child who can read well, I can teach her to solve word problems. And when you think about chemistry or physics or engineering, those are word problems. And so if one can't read well, you really can't get into the discipline as you need to. So reading skills, thinking skills, having a sense of self, and believing in oneself, all very important. So we do that with K through 12, and we especially do it at UMBC. We take great pride. When we won the mock trial competition against wonderful Yale University a few months ago, believe me, this middle class place was as excited about that as we were when we beat UVA in 2018. And that's a nice thing, when you can be as excited about mock trial or about chess as you are about basketball.
Retirement means so many different things these days. What does it mean to you?
Oh, it means I'm retiring from UMBC, but I have a long way to go. I'm looking forward to doing more and more with other universities around the country. I'm privileged to do some work with Harvard, with new presidents and academic administrators now, and I'm looking forward to continuing to do that. But I enjoy having the opportunity to work with university boards and presidents and provosts and faculty members, and working with companies on issues involving everything from the economy to leadership to D&I to diversity.
I hope you're going to have some fun too, or is that your definition of fun?
Well, that's a part of it. I'm going around the country right now with the current book we wrote, The Empowered University, and with Hopkins Press, and we're working with Hopkins to put out another book in the next year to come out on this post-COVID period. That's all fun. But I study French. My students and I speak French every day, and I enjoy that a great deal.
I wish I knew French well enough to throw out a couple of sentences to you right now.
Well, the Apollinaire, the poet said, "Le joie venait toujours après la peine." And it means the joy comes after the struggle. And my students laughed at me several years ago when I said, I'm going to start studying French with some of you. And they said, don't you think you're kind of old? I said, bring it on.
What year did you start? What year did you start learning?
About 4 years ago, il y a 4 ans. I started about 4 years ago. And mes étudiants et moi, nous parlons le français. Mon professeur est un originaire de Normandy. I'm enjoying it more than ever. I'm studying French philosophers, Madame Dubois, Monsieur Hugo, and it is très difficile, mais je parle français. I enjoy it.
A leader, but forever a student, right?
Exactly.
Well, what's one memory of your time there that you'll be looking back on for the rest of your life?
It's probably this period of COVID has been a period to allow all of us to look in the mirror and ask the question, who are we? Who are we? And what I am most inspired by is this sense of community that we have seen here in American higher education, in other parts of the world, but here at UMBC, and see my students and faculty colleagues and staff all pulling together and saying, we can get through this. So we end our talks. I do this with all of my meetings. I leave it with the thought, each meeting, keep hope alive. It sounds trite, but it's so true. That's what I remember about UMBC and about our country at this point, that we still have hope. With all the problems, we still have hope. And that is what we all need to remember.
That was University of Maryland, Baltimore County President Freeman Hrabowski. Thank you so much for this conversation, and congratulations.
Thank you, Tanya. This has been a great interview. Keep hope alive.